Five to Rua the Irish Setter. Welcome to another video from Gundog and Fly, and I hope you're enjoying this little these training videos of Rua, the little red setter. She's now 7 months old, and I've been working with her for approximately 3 to 4 weeks now, a couple of times a week at least. And I'm finding it very difficult to get the right conditions. The weather has just been against me for the most part. But in spite of that, she's doing quite well. I'm very happy with her. Now, training by its very nature can be monotonous and boring even. Well, when I say boring, it can happen that it can get boring, unfortunately. But in order to get the dog to do what I wanted to do, I have to continuously repeat and repeat and repeat and get her to do things over and over again until it becomes part of her psyche, if you like. And not a lot of people have the wherewithal to continue doing this over an extended period, and hence you see a lot of dogs, particularly here in Ireland, where you see a lot of people out hunting with dogs that are completely out of control and doing all sorts of stuff that make the day hunting not as enjoyable as it might otherwise be. So, like I said, repetition, repetition, repetition. And in this video you'll see it's basically a repeat of what I've been doing up to now, but I get some measure of success despite the conditions. So I hope you're enjoying the videos, like I said already, and that if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, consider subscribing. And there's a link in the description to this video to my Patreon page, where if you'd like to support the channel, it would be very much appreciated. So here we go into the field. Now it is what's known here locally as a shite day. Pissing down rain and virtually, well, I'd say it's absolutely still, virtually no breeze. So I'm on my way up this little boreen here, up to a field to run Rua on it. And again, because of this, that and the other, this is the only day I've had available to me recently, so I'll have to make the best of it. Think what I might talk about as I walk up to the field. There's a couple of things that have crossed my mind. What exactly are ideal training conditions? Well, when you're dealing with a wild, we'll call it a wild training session, where you're depending on nature to provide the necessary and you can't contrive anything, because I'm totally dependent on nature to provide game and the ideal conditions for training, which are basically a day with a nice light breeze that will carry scent to the dog. And I'm having trouble finding days like that these times. And game, if I can get game. I'm largely dependent on snipe around here now, because pheasants are almost a thing of the past. I'm not in the ideal part of the country for woodcock, so like I say, I'm dependent on the snipe. And I have to profess my ignorance of snipe. Some days you go to a place and there could be 20, and you go there another day and there might be none. So if anybody knows why they move from place to place, or what conditions actually determine why they might be in that field today and then not tomorrow, if anybody understands it, I'd like to know a bit more about them. Anyway, when you're hunting or training with a setter or a pointer, you need the breeze, you need the wind in order to carry the scent to the dog, because they are air scenters, as opposed to, we'll say, springers and cockers and the like, who work for the most part on ground scent. Now, the setter will also work to a point when they get close to a bird on ground scent, but mainly it's air scent. They want air scent to carry the scent of the bird to them from a distance. And of course, you need the breeze in order to do that. And today now it's dead still. Not a whole pile of breeze, if any at all. I don't think there's any at all, but I'm going to let her go. Once I go through that gap up there, I'm going to let her go, and she might find something, she might not. So they're just a few thoughts that are crossing my mind while I'm on the way to the field. So when I get through that gap, I'll turn the camera back on and we'll see how she goes. Now, I've come through the gap there, and it kind of really makes no difference from what side of the field I start, because there's, like I said, no breeze at all. So today, again, just on the off chance that she does point, I'm going to put on the long line. I've explained in previous videos what this is for. It gives me an opportunity in the event that she does point to get a hold of her and steady her to the bird until I get there. So I'm going to put that on right now, and she's used to this by now, so she'll pull it around the place. It's not going to really inhibit her at all. Right, we'll go up onto the hill, I think, and let her go from up there. Yeah, as I was explaining, the long line, she'll be pulling that along behind her, and if she does point, I'm going to hopefully get hold of that line and hold her steady until such time as the bird flushes. When the bird flushes, then I'm going to sit her or hop her and let her watch the bird fly away. She's been chasing birds up to now, any bird that's got up. Problem is, when there's no wind, is that she's going to be on the birds before she knows it herself and bump them, assuming they're here, of course, in the first place. She's going to bump them, flush them without pointing them, and just going to let her out a little bit here now. You see she's keen. Wouldn't it be great if she pointed right now? Right, I have a fair view of the field from here, so I'm just going to let her go in this direction. Come on, Rua, Rua, come on, good girl. Now off she goes. I think she's learning. She's been ultra careful, because she probably knows by now that she's likely to bump birds in these conditions. So I think she's learning that, so she's slowing down and kind of checking the ground. Now, besides snipe, we have small little songbirds like buntings and that in this field, and she'll hunt them the same as she will a snipe. There she is, she's just pointed that bunch of birds, whatever they are, before they got up. Look like starlings. Oh, hang on, 2 snipe. What a shot they would be, boom boom. Anyway, she did point those. I thought it was the starling she was pointing. She pointed them, but like I said, there's no breeze, so she didn't know exactly where they were, so she crept up and then they flushed. I'd much prefer a dry day, and even though I have a waterproof coat on, my legs are getting wet. Hang on. I think she's pointing the same 2 birds that got up. The scent is still there, because, oh no, she had another bird. Yeah, but again, the same procedure, because she didn't have the breeze. She couldn't figure out exactly where the bird was. seems there's a few birds in the field today. Hang on. I'm trying to get her to hunt this part here. See if there's anything around. Now I'm going to wipe the glass. Wipe the lens so you can see what's happening. I get a lot of questions from people, particularly those who've only always ever hunted with Springer Spaniels or Cocker Spaniels and the like, and they find this very strange that the dog is allowed to range out so far. That's what setters are bred for, basically. It's a completely different type of hunting than you would with a Springer or a Cocker or any kind of flushing dog. Oh, again emphasizing my point. It's a pity. I need to come here on another day when we have a breeze, and I'm quite sure that there'll be a big difference. I'll get her to point solid and be able to hold her up. We might get one yet. So going back to the Cockers and the Springers, which I've hunted over to for many years. It's a different type of hunting. This is a different ball game altogether in the sense of the way the dog works. But I think for anyone who's hunted with Springers and Cockers for a long time, to try this is really a real novelty. When of course the dog is properly trained and you have game and she's pointing and holding game for you, it's fantastic. Hang on, there was something here, you see, it's no longer here, but you can see her starting to slow up. When we had the sugar beet many years ago, we used to hold a lot of pheasants, and it used to be a joy to hunt sugar beet with a setter or a pointer. Also we used to have turnip gardens, turnips and root crops like that, and they held a lot of birds. It used to be fantastic, but regrettably those days are gone. There must be another snipe down along here, and there is just a very, very slight breeze. It's barely perceptible, but there is a tiny breeze. Hang on, she's winding something that's a long ways out. I can tell by her actions. She has the head held high and she can sense something, but it's a long ways out here. Hang on. Hang on. She's still not sure. Yeah. Aha, now that seemed to be fairly definite. What a beautiful point. I'm trying to get to that rope now. Steady, steady, Rua, steady, steady. Oh yes, two snipe. That was lovely. I didn't get to the rope in time, but that was lovely. That would have been a shot I would have had. Assuming I was shooting straight, I would have had a double. 2 snipe together. I couldn't get to the rope, unfortunately, just to hold her steady, but maybe next time. Maybe just here now. Now she flushed that bird by coming this direction to it, because whatever little breeze is there, she was moving with it as opposed to into it. So I think you'll agree with me, she's a keen dog. She's absolutely bird crazy.